If your soil BMP has a soil concern that is Ksat, um, there is a way to get that information on Web Soil Survey. What you'll do is you'll go after your area of interest is found, you'll go to the tab that says Soil Properties and Qualities. And under that, you will go to Soil Physical Properties. You will drop down. And what you'll see is that there are actually two different sections for saturated hydraulic conductivity, which is your Ksat. So we'll start with the first one. If you ever, with any of these things, need an idea of what those mean, you always hit description. It'll tell you what this represents. What is Ksat? In this case, Ksat is the ease to which pores are water is transmitted through the pores in the saturated soil. And so you're going to get a number for that as your rating. So when we hit view rating, what we're going to see is you can select over here your depths. So in this case, we're doing the surface layer. You can also do a range, so you can say from 0 to 50 centimeters or whatever it is that you're going to be digging through to put your proposed BMP. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a rating, and this rating is going to be micrometers per second. So this gives you an actual number. So this 92 micrometers per second is the rate at which water is going to be moving through that soil if it is fully saturated. Now, if these numbers are a little confusing and you're like, I don't really know what's a good number, what's a bad number, what's a fast number, what's a slow number, that's when this other thing comes into play, and that would be standard classes. So again, we're going to kind of do the same thing. You're going to select the depth range you want, if it's surface layer, what depth you're looking at in inches or centimeters, and then you're going to hit your view rating. And in this case, you've got these numbers again, but it gives you an idea here at the bottom of what those represent. So 92 micrometers per second is between 10 and 100, and it's on the higher end of that. So this actually means it has a very high Ksat rate, which means water is going to be moving very quickly in that soil. In this case, our lowest is a 7.7. So if I look down here, 1 to 10 is still considered moderately high. So in that case, the water is still going to be moving, fairly rapidly, looking at just the surface layer. Now this will change depending on whatever depth you're looking for. So maybe we're looking at 0 to 40 inches. We do that when we hit view rating. We're going to notice that our numbers change drastically. So again, what numbers that you put in over here for your depth range are going to change what rating you're going to get. So be very careful on that to see whatever range you're looking at. And again, this is a average. So this is looking at the average of this soil type. So if we went out and actually did an actual Ksat at this site, it may be somewhat different, maybe a little higher, a little lower, but on average, the soils of these mapped units should be in this rating. In this case, looking at, since we changed things and went deeper in this soil, we'll notice that we now have a 2.0 rating, which again, 2.0, looking at that, is going to bring us still in that moderately high, but now we're getting closer to that moderately low. So our ability for the water to go through that soil is shrunk a lot, depending on, again, looking at those layers, what layers you're going through. I also wanted to point out that for things like this Ksat, if you're worried about it, if it's something very critical that you're looking at, it may be worth doing some sort of test to see. But even more so is verifying, again, those map units are what you see. So when you go out to the site, I want you to look at the map unit and make sure that that is comparing correctly. You don't want to go out and be looking at, let's say, the Toxaway silt loam and thinking that's where you're at, when in fact you're in a Concora loam. That may change things drastically in how that BMP should have been planned. So just always use field verification, and if you're in doubt, make sure that you contact your local soil scientist to make sure that you are getting the correct numbers.